Hi everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Rules video of Trade and Troll. Trade and Troll is a European-style game for 2 to 6 players about commerce and strategy. First of all, choose the board according to the number of players. According to the board used, a different number of spaces for game components are made available. As an example, in this video we will use a 4 players board. As you can see, the board is graphically divided into a grid. The squares are meant to mark where players will place their buildings during the game, while in the paths between the squares it will be possible to build the connecting roads. After having displayed the game board, place the closed road tokens. This component blocks completely the passage of goods, and it will not be possible to build a road on it during the game. This is the board with all the closed roads already placed. Take the building tiles and divide them into 3 decks according to their type: resources, stores and markets. Reveal 5 tiles for each type of building. These are the buildings that players can buy during the game. Each player then receives a troll bag, 5 coins, 12 meeples representing his merchants, a resource building tile and a road tile. The first player places his building and his road on the board. The merchant meeple is placed on the building tile to state its ownership. Other players, in turn, repeat the process. Now we are ready to start playing. Before we start playing, we will explain how the main mechanics of the game works: the chain of production. The chain of production is the main mechanics of Trade and Troll and indicates how the buildings can be used. Each building is characterized by 3 elements: type, resources, stores and markets, color, indicated on the border of the tile, and entrance, in the lower part of the tile. During the game, players will activate these buildings to collect coins, but to do so, some requirements must be met. First of all, the active player must be the owner of the building and one of its merchant meeple must be present on the tile. Other conditions vary according to the building type. Resources are at the base of the chain and provide raw material of the same color of the border of the tile. Resources don't have any activation condition, and when activated they provide 2 coins to their owner. Stores use resources to make more complex goods. A store to be activated must be connected by a continuous road, from its entrance to the entrance of a resource building of the corresponding color. If the store border contains 2 different colors, the store must be connected to the 2 different corresponding resource buildings. Closed roads obstruct the passage and cannot be considered part of a continuous road. A stall activation provides 5 coins if 1 single resource is required, or 7 if 2 resources are required. If a player cannot activate a stall because he does not possess the resource building required, he can rent other players' resource tiles. If a player rents a building owned by another player, this player gains the same amount of coins as if the building was activated by himself. Finally, the market follows the store rules, but instead of being connected to a resource building, it must be connected to stalls. Market activation provides 12 coins to its owner. Every game round is composed of 3 different phases: Troll Ocean, Player Actions, and a round. Let's start from the player actions. We'll return later on the Troll Ocean. During the player's action phase, each player can execute 2 non-consecutive actions in 2 different turns. Let's see the available actions during the game phase. The green player, who already has a purple resource, spends 8 coins to buy a purple stall and places it on the board. The building will be used later to generate coins. The red player spends 2 coins to buy a road and connect his buildings. In this way, he will be able to use his stall in the next turn. The blue player activates his green resource building to generate some coins. The merchant meeple is placed in the lion position to remember that this building has already been activated in this round and cannot be activated again. Finally, if a player doesn't want or can't do any action, he may pass, like the yellow player. Let's see the second turn of the phase. The green player has a continuous road between his purple buildings and can activate his store to earn some coins. In the previous turn, red player has created a continuous road for his buildings and can now activate his store. He gains 7 coins while the green player gains 2 coins because he owns the only purple resources in play. The blue player has enough coins to buy a market. The building is immediately placed on the board. Finally, the yellow player builds a road. The troll is the main character of the game and is used to block other players' roads and buildings. During this phase, which is the first one taking place every round, each player secretly bets some of his coins to take the troll. As all bets are finally revealed, the player with the highest bet can place the troll on the board and takes 1 victory point token. All the coins used during the ocean phase must be placed inside the troll bag, whether or not the player has won it. For the rest of the game, these coins will not be used anymore, but they will give additional victory points after the game has ended. It is not possible to look inside other players' bags. The troll can be placed in 2 different ways, on a road intersection or on a building tile. If placed on a road intersection, the troll blocks the flow of goods exactly in that point. Consider the path between the 2 or more involved roads interrupted. If placed on a building, the building neither can be activated this round nor can provide raw materials to other buildings. After the troll ocean, the player actions phase begins. In this last phase, players must do the following actions. The first player passes the first player token to the next player. All players reposition the activated meeples in a standing position on their building tiles. The troll is removed from the board if present. Finally, a new turn begins. Repeat all the various phases of the game until the endgame condition is met. When a number of free squares equal or lower to the number of players is left, the endgame phase begins. From now on, only a maximum of 2 additional rounds are going to be played. At the end of the second round, the game ends. Whenever all the squares are occupied by building tiles, the game will be over at the end of that current round. When the game is over, all that's left to do is to calculate the scores. Victory points are assigned in 4 different ways. Use the victory point track at the edge of the board to keep track of the player's score. Buildings are the main source of victory points. Every resource that has a road in front of its entrance grant 1 victory point. Stores connected to the resources needed to activate them grant 3 victory points. Finally, markets connected to stores needed to activate them grant 7 victory points. The owner loses the same amount of victory points if a resource does not have a road in front of its entrance or if the stores and markets are not connected to the required buildings. 3 other elements grant victory points. Players gain 1 victory point for every 10 unused coins. Sum all the victory points gained for winning the troll oceans. Finally, empty the troll bag. The player with the highest amount of coins in the bag gains 3 additional victory points. The second one gains 1 victory point. The player with the most points is the winner. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed the game.